ISU.
A young mother in training to be a police officer, but no one saw this coming.
It was the worst day of our life.
It's video you'll only see on the Shade Room. After a full day of teaching, her police instructor pulled out a gun, shot her in the chest, killing her. Her attorneys say he was joking around with the group and thought it was his training gun.
He got away with murder. That's what we feel.
But her family wants justice. Why they say he should have never had a loaded gun in the first place. I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates.
Hey, shalom, Israel. Hey, this is a video about a police that's playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes. You know, playing games in serious situations. Basically to show what you are not to do when you are responsible for other people's lives, and it shows who does not need to be in leadership. So I want y'all to just watch the video, but I'm gonna give my take on it towards the end. Let's get into it.
All Marissa Mannion ever wanted to be was a police officer, and she finally achieved that dream in February 2022 when she was hired as a special officer at the Anacostia Neighborhood Library in Washington, D.C. August 4th, 2022, just months into her role, a contractor was brought in for a special training. The class went fine, but as soon as that class wrapped, the unthinkable happened. This was released exclusively to the Shade Room, a video inside a training room at the library. Around 3:30 p.m., you can see Mannion and her colleagues were socializing. They were wrapping up their session for the day. Before they all went their separate ways, though, they took a group photo. Look closely on the far right. That's 60-year-old Jesse Porter, a retired Metro DC police officer. There's no audio, but court records show that Mannion interrupted and told the group that she needed to take her face mask off for the photo. Then everybody laughed about it. One witness said, quote, Porter had been joking with her all day because she was having difficulty with some of the material, and the group had been joking with her because they'd been waiting for her to put up her hair and fix her boot throughout the day. They were having fun with it. She was laughing and we were joking, end quote.
Real quick, hey, I know I said I was gonna wait towards the end, but real quick, you notice they said he was joking and then everybody else, his students, was joking. I want y'all to notice that, because if you are a leader, you're supposed to set the precedent, man. You're supposed to set the precedent and let everybody know what not to do. But when they see you doing it, then they're gonna follow suit. And this is the result of it. This is the result of being clowns, right? This is the result of not taking things serious in serious matters, man.
Back to the video. They reassemble for the photo, but then you can see Porter step out and fire his loaded 9mm Glock pistol. We edited out the shooting itself. It's really too graphic to show, but afterward you can see Mannion grab her chest and fall to the ground while some of her colleagues rush out the door. You can see Porter is visibly upset. He puts his hands up before rushing over to check on Mannion. One witness heard him yell, "Damn, damn, damn." Another witness heard him yell another expletive before rushing over to her side, where he and another man went into, quote, medical mode.
Did not make any sense to me.
It's still not adding up for Cherie Mannion, Marissa's mother, who got the horrific news later that day. Her only daughter was dead.
There was no need for a gun in the library, and there was no need for a gun at that time.
And that's a question that'll soon be at the center of a civil lawsuit that the family is filing against the District of Columbia. We spoke to their team of attorneys who point out city code, which states that no person holding a gun license shall carry a pistol in buildings or offices occupied by the District of Columbia, its agencies, or instrumentalities.
This is not just an acquiescence. This is a concerted effort to disregard the safety and the constitutional protections and rights of Ms. Mannion. This is not just about Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter was acting at the behest of and on behalf of the DC government. but with the DC government, was able to walk brazenly into a building with a loaded firearm and ammunition. That is the pattern, that is a practice, and that is what the civil suit is about.
Something else that was revealed in court records too, a witness statement that claims that Porter made a funny comment earlier in the day and pointed an orange training firearm at Mannion, simulating shooting her. The witness stated that they appeared to be playing around as she knew him for about a year and knew him to be playful as to not make the training, quote, dry. When police showed up to the scene later, you can see Porter was never placed in handcuffs and was allowed to stay home as the case played out in court.
What they should have done and what policy requires is they should have taken his weapon from him immediately. They should have handcuffed him immediately. They should have sent him for drug and alcohol testing immediately.
Yep.
They should have separated himself from the scene immediately. That's how you protect the integrity of what happened. Quite frankly, people were very casual. Very casual. I didn't treat him as if he was a shooter.
What this sister said was absolutely correct. They was casual because he was casual. They was clowns because he was a clown, right? And I wonder what they meant by he knew her for about a year. Like, was they sexually involved and he was having some type of, secret anger towards her because they probably not together, or, having sexual relations? I don't know, but I digress. But just because you know somebody don't mean that you play games with them all day. It's a time and a place for everything, man. But you don't do that. You don't be casual in serious situations, man. You don't do that. And that's a bad leader for you.
We have the civil process. These facts will come out.
This summer, Porter took a plea deal.
A plea deal of involuntary manslaughter. That was something I can tell you that the family vehemently objected to and made those objections very clear. Mr. Porter was sentenced to the very bottom of the guideline, the 36 months that you referenced.
The deal is lighter than the second-degree murder charge that a grand jury originally called for.
He had a weapon. He pulled it. He deserved more time than 36 months. He deserved, honestly, life in prison to my family.
Oh, God. Mm. Nothing can bring her back.
My daughter is dead? No, man. I think we need bigger justice than this, man.
Mannion leaves behind a 5-year-old son who just started kindergarten. We also reached out to city leaders about possible civil litigation. We're still waiting to hear back. But in court, Porter's attorneys argued that he never intended to shoot and kill Mannion and that this was just a horrible tragedy. We're also told that they asked the judge for leniency for him based on his lack of criminal history and his 33 years in law enforcement. The judge did take some of that into account, justifying that 3-year sentence for him, and said that he believed that Mr. Porter was deeply and genuinely remorseful for what he did.
33 years in law enforcement, and he hasn't learned a goddamn thing. 33 years, and he don't know not to play with guns? As a leader, you don't know not to play with guns, and you teaching these people. Like, you got people's lives in your hands, and you teaching them to play games. So when they become leaders, they're gonna teach everybody else to play games. And now what we got? A group of leaders who are clowns, man. A group of leaders who are going to get everybody under them unalived. But let's get right into the scriptures. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 4. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. See, there's a time and a place for all this. what they was doing was a serious matter. It wasn't a time to dance and laugh and all that. It was a serious thing. You know what? He could have took them. He could have took them after they was done training to go eat, and while they eating, they could have laughed and danced then. But while you in that situation, it's not the time for that, man. It's not the time for it. And you paid the cost. Let's get to the next scripture. Ecclesiasticus chapter 18 verse 32. Take not pleasure in much good cheer, neither be tied to the expense thereof. Right, the Lord saying, don't take pleasure in always laughing. Like you the type that, oh, he always laughing. Neither be tied to the expense thereof. The Lord said, don't be attached to the cost of that, because the cost of that costs lives, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're laughing all the time, how can you know what a serious situation is, right? So the Lord saying, don't take pleasure in being a goofball all the damn time, man. Be serious sometimes, especially when you in leadership, man. When you in leadership, you got people under you. You got their lives in your hands, man. And being a leader and a goofball will always lead to disaster. Next scripture, Ecclesiasticus chapter 21 verse 20. A fool lifteth up his voice with laughter, but a wise man doeth scarce smile a little. Right, the Lord saying a fool always lifting up his voice with laughter. And the reason why he's a fool, because he's too busy laughing to see anything serious. He's too busy laughing to see an enemy coming to unalive him and his family and his people, because he's always laughing. But the Lord said a wise man barely smiled. That's what the scarce mean. Barely smile. He smiled a little bit, but he's going to be serious, because a wise man sees and searches out everything. A wise man see danger. You know what I'm saying? A wise man see when somebody trying to come and get him. A wise man see the subtleness of Satan. A wise man see all of that. That's why a fool lift up his voice always laughing, but a wise man don't smile. Warriors is serious, man. And I like to thank Commander General Hunter, because we in the ISUPK, it's serious business, man. It's serious in here, man. And if you're a brother, including myself, if you're a brother, you have any kind of weakness, man, you got brothers and sisters' lives in your hands, and you make sure you fight that weakness and fix that. Otherwise, you'll be just another fool, just like this situation here. You'll be just another fool saying, oh, I didn't know this was gonna happen. You'll be just another fool like that. Let's read on. Ephesians chapter 5 verses 3 through 4. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints, neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. See, the Lord saying, if you gonna be a priest and prophet of the Most High, you are not allowed to be a clown, man. The Lord, the scriptures say the Lord is a man of war, man. He's serious, man. The Lord don't play no games, and he don't want his prophets playing games either. Because once you start playing games, then you got, like I said before, you got a nation full of clowns, man. Right? So the Lord said he don't want no foolish talking, nor jesting. So no jesting is clowns, right? So do not come and think you're gonna be a prophet with your red nose and your red long shoes juggling balls up in here, because it's not going to happen. We are serious, man. And for you to be a serious leader and for people to take you seriously, you have to be serious, man. Let me give y'all this last scripture. Proverbs chapter 26, verses 18 through 19. As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor and saith, am not I in sport? Right. The Lord said this cat here, he was like a madman in there, right? Like he casting a firebrand is, a arrow that's on fire, right? He was a madman. He pointing guns in a serious situation. You a madman for that, man. You a madman. And it only leads to death, man. It only leads to death. And you was the cat that was saying, or you were deceiving your neighbors by saying you was in sport, by playing games, man. By saying, oh yeah, I'm just playing. Like they said in the article, oh, we was just playing. We was just joking. And what that got you, man? What that got you? I want y'all to let that be a lesson for y'all, man. To look at your black leaders and know exactly what they are. And know who is ruling over you and representing you. Bozo the Clown is representing you. And you wonder why we got a nation of them. And a clown with a sword in his hand only means certain victory for the enemy, man. So I like to thank Commander General Yohana and General Hazayan and Captain Nakar, man. Because if you want real leaders, man, you want real training, you want serious man that's about business, man, the ISUPK is the place to be, man. It's the place to be. You want to rule the goddamn world, man? ISUPK. You want your sons and daughters protected? ISUPK, man. You want absolute power and freedom? Well, the ISUPK is the place to be. This cat spent 33 years in law enforcement just to get his students unalive by him being a clown. Commander General Yohana been in this truth for 40 plus years and ain't lost none. All of his soldiers are here because he's a serious man. And to actually love your people, you got to be serious, man. Otherwise, they'll lose their lives in your hands. So blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, if you want real freedom, if you want real power, come to ISUPK and trust and believe you will be safe. Shalom.
You hearing that noise, you hearing that pound, you hearing that voice. That's what does that sound? That's boots on the ground and we on the move. That's General Yohana taking your town. If you are at home, please do not try this. We are not hoes, we are not modest. It can get violent if you ain't bought it. I will advise you, stick to your side. There's plenty of shoes fit for you. Please stay in your lane and that'll be cool. You the type to scream up if you buck in the club. We rockin' stilettos, hold with red. We are not the same, you and me. We are not the same, you and me. I do not get high, I do not wife hoes. We are not the same, you and me. I come from the hood, surviving them booms. Everybody on drugs and dodging them goons. And don't give a fuck, they taking your jewels. If you got the guns, they making the rules. You niggas say you crime bosses and mob ties, and that sound good on the outside. I know warlords are just righteous enough not to kill and race your whole bloodline. I'm in the bodega, everything fuego except NYPD. I'm not from New York, but I put on my Timbs and stomp your ass out and turn you to a chopped cheese. Everywhere I go, I got my shield on. Everywhere I go, I got my zeal on. Everywhere I go, I got my kill on. That model 52 nil on. That gun is loaded, them my woad is Henny poet. You already know it. We the coldest beef, we smoke.